This episode, we may need to have a talk if it's time to kill your grandma. Hey guys, Randy Gage here. Welcome to another episode of Prosperity TV. I'm back home in Miami, and let's get one thing out of the way. You're probably wondering, hey, this is Gage. He's the prosperity guy. This is a prosperity channel. Why would he be talking about murdering an elderly person, let alone my grandma, my dear beloved grandma? So let's get that out of the way right away. No, I don't really think you should kill your grandma. Now you say, well, would Gage participate in clickbait? Would he just use some catchy title to get my attention? Yes, I absolutely shamelessly would and did. I don't want you to kill your grandma, but I think you might have to kill some of her ideas or some of her beliefs. So let me tell you about my grandma. She was Catholic, so of course she had all the Catholic guilt things. Her husband divorced her. He kind of liked younger women, married a few times. So I don't think she ever dated another man after that marriage ended, right? Raised during the Depression era. So really had this cost consciousness, which I would call poverty consciousness today, but I just feel weird even equating that term with my grandmother, who I loved so much. But I remember, I would call her every week or two, and back then I had moved to Miami, young guy, I'm calling her, and it was long distance, which was like 28 cents a minute back in the day, and then it was 15 cents and 10 cents and 8 cents, and as the price went down. But it didn't matter. Every time I talked to her, after about the 3-minute mark, she would say, I know this is costing you, so I'm gonna go now. And I'd be like, Grandma, it's okay. No, I know this is costing you. I remember once flying her and my mother down here to Miami after the holidays. I wasn't going home for Christmas, and she was always, so I thought, let me bring her down to Miami. Let her see what sunshine and palm trees and beautiful weather in January looks like. So I flew her down, and her and my mother, and then I was picking them up at their hotel, and I said, all right, we were going to dinner. Where would you like to go, Grandma? Oh, any place you want, wherever you like. I'm like, well, there's a great Italian place I love. Well, no, I don't really eat Italian because mostly it's spicy, and I only eat at Three Sisters in Madison because their sauce isn't so spicy. Okay, Grandma, it doesn't have to be Italian. What would you like? Anything you want. Okay, what about Chinese food? Well, no, I don't really eat Chinese food, but pick some. All right, okay, you don't want Italian, you don't want Chinese. What do you want, Grandma? What are you hungry for? Where would you like? It doesn't matter, wherever you like. Well, there's a Thai place. Well, I don't really eat Thai food, but you guys eat and I'll just have coffee. No, Grandma, we want some place you can eat. So finally I realized, what am I thinking? She's from Wisconsin. Every meal they eat is a slab of meat, a potato, and vegetables, So I'm like, all right, there's a steakhouse by the airport. Yeah, okay, great. So finally we agreed. So I take her to the 94th Aero Squadron, which is, got a view of the runway in Miami airport and everything. And so the waiter comes to take the order, and she says, I don't eat a lot, so I don't want, my grandson is paying for it. I don't want to waste his money. Can I see the children's menu? And I'm like, Grandma, I can afford it. Please, just order whatever you want. So we finally convinced her to order. She goes to the restroom, and my mother, who's watching this, because she watches this show, she's going to kill me. she, my grandmother goes to the restroom and my mother says, "If I ever get like that, kill me." And with all the love I could muster, I said, "Mom, you'd already be dead." Because of course my mother picks up all kind of traits from her grandmother, who picked it up from her mother and her mother and her mother. And I see with my sister, my brother, myself, of course we pick up stuff from my mother. This is just what happens. We get into these generational patterns, which are created by beliefs. And sometimes we don't think about questioning those beliefs and saying, hey, okay, that belief might have been true for that generation, but is it really true for me? And for my grandmother, I had to recognize that she just had a different belief system. So for Christmas one year, I thought, I want to really pamper her. I'm going to get her a gift certificate from a spa for hundreds of dollars so she can get the whole, the massage and the facial and, all of that. And I don't remember if it was my mother or my sister called me up and said, "Why did you give Grandma that gift certificate?" She was crying because she didn't want to waste your money, but she has a hairstylist and she only goes to that hairstylist and no one else could do her hair, and she can't use that because she would never even consider getting a massage and having somebody massage her body. It just wasn't in her belief thing. And I had to, and this is, of course, we do that with gifts. We give things we would like to receive. We put it on our perspective, not always on the person we're trying to celebrate or to honor or to gift. And that was on me. And it's true, my grandmother just couldn't imagine the possibility of being pampered like that because she was raised in the era that just wasn't done. So here's what I want you to know. I loved my grandmother so much and I miss her. Man, my favorite days as a kid, we would get to sleep over at Grandma's house, and she had those little boxes of Kellogg cereal, the individual packs, and they had perforations in them so you could open them up and put milk in there and eat the cereal out of the box. That was just the coolest thing in the world to me. So I joke about with the headline and everything and those beliefs. So this is important. I miss my grandmother so much, my grandpa. I have no grandparents at all, right? So I hope you celebrate yours if you still have them and appreciate them as you celebrate all the people in your life. And I know I'm giving you the example of my Catholic grandma, but you could do a video just like this about your Russian grandmother, your Jewish grandmother. I dated an Italian guy. His grandmother, every single meal had to have pasta and spaghetti sauce. And you'd say you were on a diet doing keto, low carb. There was no such thing as a meal without pasta, right? Those are just generational beliefs. And so I could pick any ethnic group, religion, whatever. We all have our grandmothers and great grandmothers, our abuelitas, and people that have those beliefs that were maybe they weren't even right for their time, but they were the prevalent belief of the time. And so we can love those people and honor those people. And if we no longer have them, I hope we can all say that their memory brings us a blessing. And we also can question the beliefs that they had, that they passed on to their children, that they passed on to you, and you already have, or you were about to pass on to your own children. And you can just go back and say, let me question, does that belief really serve me? Or can I expand my view of the world and look at it a different way? All right, love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're watching if you're listening to the podcast, please make sure you subscribe. And I'd love to see a rating on iTunes if you can. So go out and have an amazing week. Peace. Hey, really meant what I said. If it doesn't have to be your grandparents, it can be anybody in your life that you haven't really thought about how much you love them and how much you mean to them. That's your bonus prosperity lesson for this week, is celebrate the people that you love.